Alicia Esposito, content strategist for Retail Touchpoints, and I have joining me today our very good friend Shelley Bransten of Microsoft. Shelley, thanks so much for taking the time.
Happy to be here.
So, NRF time,
Yeah.
Very busy but exciting time.
Yes.
And a really key theme, I think, for this year's show, and I think through the holiday season, is this whole concept of reinventing retail or reimagining retail.
Right.
Very exciting concepts, but also very loaded concepts.
Yes.
So I think to start off our conversation, what does that mean to you,
Right.
and what does that mean to Microsoft?
Right. Well, I think I get asked a lot, is retail dead? Are stores going away? And I absolutely don't believe that.
Right.
But what I do believe is that the business model is getting reinvented and reimagined. And so it actually provides one of the best opportunities I've ever seen to rethink, why do we have the stores? What's the consumer experience, from the moment of inspiration on a phone to walking into a physical store, and how do we bring those together? Mm-hmm. So we've got a whole chapter here in our booth at Microsoft talking about two amazing retailers, Kroger and Starbucks, and how they're reimagining their retail.
No, it's fantastic. And those are two very innovative brands, I think, when we're looking at customer service, customer experience. So let's start with Starbucks.
Okay.
I mean, what are they really bringing to the table? I know they've done a lot of really innovative things with mobile payment, quick checkout. But what stands out to you as someone who is so ingrained in retail, has such extensive experience?
And also likes coffee.
Yeah, who doesn't?
So I think if you think about, Starbucks was a pioneer, as you said, in terms of loyalty, mobile loyalty, and mobile ordering. So 34% of their transactions are now coming through in a mobile app. But they couldn't sit still and just say, okay, we've got the customer. So now what they're doing is they know when Shelley or Alicia, we've ordered our coffee, how close we are to the store. They're optimizing and making sure that they make that coffee so it's fresh for you when you walk in. Because even just a few years ago, you would walk in, they might have made the coffee, but it might have sat there for a little while. And for Starbucks, that means, number one, you're not happy. No one wants a cold coffee. Number two, they're wasting their barista's time, and they're wasting those raw materials. So now, by sort of having all this data coming through the Azure cloud, they're able to know that you're there and your coffee is hot for you.
So that's a really interesting example, because on the surface you think, okay, order comes through, get it done quickly, it's done.
Right.
But there are a lot of those subtle elements to the experience that I think a lot of people don't really think about, but they make a very significant impact. So I'd love for you to dig into that a little bit more.
Well, to your point, I think when personalization is good, we don't even know it's happening.
Right.
It's just a better customer experience. So it's taking all that data that's there and turning it into action and insight that actually makes the customer happy and help the retailer save money.
Right.
And I think what's been so interesting in our journey with Starbucks is that has then unlocked whole new business ideas of what else they can do to really take steps and really obstacles out of the journey.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like there's so much to unpack there, but let's talk about Kroger before we run out of time. What about their story do you think, what makes them a top candidate for someone who has reimagined or rethought the whole customer experience?
Yeah, I mean, just grounding, over 2,700 stores, largest grocer in America, and they couldn't sit still.
Right.
The way that we buy groceries is changing, and they recognize that. And so there's really two things that we've done with them. One is the shelf edge, where you, Alicia, or me, Shelley, if we're part of the Kroger loyalty program, when we walk in and we're standing in front of the aisle trying to figure out which pasta sauce to buy, we'll be able to see the ingredients. We'll probably get a coupon that's personalized just for us. We might get a recommendation for which noodles and where they are in the store. So it's really helping you, transparency about the products, navigate the store, and save money. And so that's a huge step forward in, how the grocery store will feel in Kroger. The second thing that they're doing is what they're calling retail as a service. And they've created this technology, and I think this is super innovative. They're selling it to even some of their competitors. Because they realize that it's such great technology, and there's an opportunity for all retailers to reinvent. So they're testing pieces in their own store, and then they're actually out there, and they've created their own technology company. And so they are creating whole new revenue streams. Kroger is not just going to make money being a grocer, which obviously the lion's share of it, but they're becoming a technology company, and we're in partnership with them on that.
That actually ties to a follow-up question I had, because you noted the evolution of the grocery industry. So where do you think that's going, especially as there are online pure plays, of course, with Amazon's acquisition of Whole Foods and new partnerships with, like the Instacarts of the world. Yeah. Where do you think grocery is going in particular? Then maybe there's a way that other retailers can kind of learn from that category, which you probably wouldn't think that would be a direct correlation, but I would love your thoughts on that.
I mean, I think we're seeing even retail as a category outside, like up from grocery. I think we're seeing a complete converging of the lines of what industries are. So, meaning, are you a drugstore? Are you a grocer? Are you a bank? Are you a hospital? And so more and more these lines between industries and categories are blurring as the consumer has more and more control and just wants what they want when they want it. So we could imagine, doing all sorts of other things and getting access to all sorts of other products and services in a Kroger store.
No, this is great, Shelley. So we talked a lot about, some of the cutting edge technology, those touch points that the customer interfaces with throughout their experience, whether it's early stage or they're ready to make a purchase. But what else do you think is really top of mind for retailers or critical for retailers as they strive to reimagine the customer experience? I mean, even at the store level, since we're talking about the reimagination of the store.
Yeah. Well, I think the brick and mortar is getting reinvented. I think delivering experiences is incredibly important. And if I think about the announcement we made this morning with Walgreens, it's about taking that physical space and saying, what are new healthcare delivery models? What are ways to be more personalized so that when I go in as a busy working mom, I get reminders of flu shots or, my own, if I had diabetes, something that I needed to do there. So thinking about that physical space and reimagining it and new partnerships is, I think, top of mind. It's certainly, we've seen so much interest, as we talked about at Kroger and Starbucks, it's about reimagining that digital space.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily the store is a place where there are products on the shelf or you order a coffee and you go. There seems to be this renewed focus on community and adding that greater good to the consumer's life, whether it's in the form of, services that you can provide or services that you can give to, to your point, competitors with Kroger. So it seems like the community of retail it's not like everyone's kind of in their own little box, and seeing everyone as competitors. It's how can we all help add to the greater good, which is pretty encouraging.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we talk a lot about last mile delivery, and obviously people are talking about drones and all sorts of future things, but I think thinking about our stores as those places, I mean, for the average consumer, they live within 5 miles of a Walgreens. Like, how do we deliver real experiences and services there to make the experience better?
All right. Excellent, Shelley. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out to chat with me, share some of these success stories. Very exciting time for retail. Really appreciate you taking the time out to speak with me today. And thanks everyone out there for watching.